So the first attempts were failing, and then what did you change afterwards, after these
Yeah, so
experiences?
fast forwarding a little bit to 2016, we purchased our property that would become this place, and we call it Warriors Rest Vineyard. It's now 10 acres of grapes, and with this, we have a tasting room where one-on-one folks can come in. We can tell our story. We're making wines that are tied to place, either this place or some of the other vineyards I've worked with in the past. And it's kind of the opposite of a commodity, because wine grapes sometimes are traded like a commodity, a big oversupply year, and it's just, hey, this is just Oregon Pinot, right? What's that sell for per ton? But out of this tasting room, I can say this is Warriors Rest Pinot Noir from 2021. It got this score. This is how we farmed it that year. And this isn't a representation of Oregon. This is a representation of this tiny parcel. And so that cherry, that velvet, that wonderful wine you're tasting, that's just from here. And so you can charge more money for it. You're not traveling across the country trying to sell it FOB by the pallet. It's everything about it for us and for our scale works so much better than the opposite. So we've kind of bookended the attempts at the wine business between a small number of generic SKUs, and now we'll have a relatively larger number, smaller, more niche, more terroir driven, more fun.
I see. So when you saw that your wine was too niche for this market, as you described it, you decided to go even nicher, even more narrow path to succeed in that. Wow, that's a very, very cool strategy. So this means, as I understand, that you mostly focus on the wine tourism and selling from out of the cellar.
That's right. So now we're essentially exclusively estate. We do a little bit of distribution, but that's um, more for, we've got a distributor in Northwest Washington who we've worked with for years. But as a percentage of our business, it's the minority. And we do some work with local B&Bs to get some of our wines in front of their customers. But we're probably 90% direct to consumer out of this tasting room and the wine club.
Oh wow, that's great. And as you mentioned, that's the most fun to talk to the people, talk to the customers. It's a very, very meaningful experience. I also sometimes host wine tastings, and it's so cool. Even especially when people are interested and they want to learn about the wine, they want to learn about winemaking, and they are interested in the stories. That's the best feeling. And I think it's not just like on this personal level, but in business terms, in the long term, these connections, these experiences create the real loyalty. And it's a lot more meaningful than selling maybe 5 times more wine in the store where no one cares, just buys the wine for that evening.
My wife's uncle, Fred, has a picture in his office of one of his sons surrounded by grapes and grape leaves. And he took that photo at Sokol Blosser in what would have been, I guess, the early 80s. And every time he sees that picture, he thinks about Sokol Blosser and that wonderful moment when his son was young. And he has a real connection to that place and that story and that brand. And he'll have that for the rest of his life. And we can create those memories here with consumers, with families. We weren't even here, and there was a couple that got engaged at our tasting room.
Oh wow.
They walked over from our bungalows and saw the vines. There was the tasting room. The whole thing was all together, and the gentleman proposed. And then they go off about their day, now newly engaged, and they send us an email. Oh, we got engaged at your property. Isn't that amazing? And we are part of their story forever. There'll be hopefully generations of children that look back on that as like, oh wow, that all started for grandma and grandpa there. And to me, that's such an amazing honor that we can be part of people's, the tapestry of their lives.
Exactly. Creating memories and building these personal, valuable connections.
Thanks for watching this video. You can watch the full podcast episode by clicking here, or watch another interesting video by clicking here. Let's continue the discussion in the comment section and see you in the next one.